everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Banterly, the Gen Z podcast about pop culture and media. I am Aidan.
And I'm Aditi. I'm here too. I didn't say hi, but hi, everyone.
Hello. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. What are you into these days?
I'm into the same old things. I was in St. Louis last week. I went home.
Yes, I recall. How was that?
Nice.
Any changes since the last time you've been there?
I went to this restaurant that one of my dad's coworkers recommended to him. And this ramen place in the middle of St. Louis City, we go, not knowing anything about it. There's a line out the door, which isn't a thing for St. Louis.
Yeah,
like
I would
maybe
imagine
New York.
not.
So we go and then we're in line and I'm like looking up like, what's this restaurant? Apparently Yelp, January 2024, named it the second best restaurant in the nation. This little rinky-dink ramen place in St. Louis.
There's no fucking way that's true. Who said
It's true.
this?
Yelp. Yeah, they did this thing where they, I guess every year they use reviews to rank restaurants nationwide number 2 in the nation. It was the best ramen I've ever had. Yeah, it was good. We waited in line for an hour. It was good. It was worth it. But I was like, number 2 in the nation.
With everything in New York, this little place in St. Louis.
Literally little 24-seat place in a random neighborhood.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Really on the
I wear that badge of honor
rise.
very proudly. Second best restaurant in the nation. Ba-bam.
There you go.
How about you? How about any pop culture fixations you've been keeping up with this week?
I mean, I feel like every time I give my pop culture updates, it's in the relatively same sphere of things. So there's more rap beef happening. I don't know if you're keeping up anymore with the Drake, Kendrick Lamar drama happening. Based on your reaction, I'm gonna say no.
Actually,
okay.
I was reading the New York Times morning weekend
It made the New York Times?
I think it was. Because it was music and movies. And I was I saw that and that. Did I read the article? No, but I saw that it was.
You know what's happening.
I know it's happening.
Yeah.
Can you explain what's going on?
I mean, it's been hard for even me to keep up at this point because there's so much happening. I don't remember the exact timeline of things, but Kendrick dropped Euphoria this week, I think on Tuesday.
Euphoria. Them superpowers get neutralized. I can
and I think it's 6 minutes long, produced really well, and it's basically shitting on Drake's entire persona, saying he's just insanely fake. It's basically just 6 minutes of shitting on Drake. It's crazy.
Stories on the family front, 'cause you heard Mr. Morale. Pathetic.
Push-Ups, unfortunately, is really, really catchy.
You better drop and give them 50. Pip squeak, pipe down. You ain't in no big 3. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. Like your label, boy, you in a scope right now.
I'm anti-Drake, generally. Very pro-Kendrick. Have seen him perform live. 2017 Damn Tour. Incredible show. That's me. What about you? Pop culture-wise, what's going on?
Well, I actually I've had a little bit of a fixation with a rapper, too.
Okay.
She goes by the name of Nikki Fresh.
Unfamiliar.
But you and the audience may know her as Nicole Richie.
Oh!
It's Nicole Richie's persona
way.
Named Nikki Fresh.
I didn't know that.
It has been on my For You page a lot the past few weeks, just snippets of her music videos. And I was like, oh, is Nicole Richie releasing music now? This is amazing because I love The Simple Life. I like Nicole Richie.
Mm-hmm.
She's really funny. And no, it's actually, it's old music. It was released in 2020 for this comedy show she was doing on Quibi, that platform that lasted a second. And the show was called Nikki Fresh. It was a docu-comedy series about her new persona releasing music about the environment, to promote her feelings about saving the environment. So some of the songs, one of them is called Drip Drip.
We need that water, water. We need that drip, drip. We getting thirsty. We need a sip, sip. And not that dirty, dirty. We need that clean shit. It's a necessity. Everyone deserves it. Every morning I wake up and I'm parched.
Which is about preserving water and how important water is. But it's the beats are really good. The lyrics are silly, but the beats are there. It's you got that water, water. You got that drip, drip.
Okay.
You getting thirsty. You take a sip, sip. And not that dirty, dirty.
Okay,
and
keep
then
going. I was into it.
Listen to it. And then Little Gems is about like different types of gems, like crystals, and then Bees Tea is about like how important bees are to our environment, like bees and honey and flowers, and like making sure that we don't kill them and all that stuff. But it's like catchy and it's like educate. Like when I'm older, I want to play my kids Nikki Fresh to learn about the environment.
Yeah, that's
among
amazing.
other things. But
among other things. But this will be step one.
Yeah, Nikki Fresh. So that's been my fixation recently. So I recommend that you check it out because if not, like,
I will.
And the music videos are so good. She's so funny.
I loved her
so
on The
funny.
Simple Life. I grew
Yeah.
up watching that show. And I'm very excited to see that she's still around. I mean, I don't know where I thought she went, but
She's still kicking it. Yeah.
that's amazing. All right, well, now let's move into our question of the day. What is your favorite sport to watch, if any?
My favorite sport, I'm not a very athletic person,
Okay.
but tennis. We tried a lot of sports growing up. Like my parents were like, you got to do something.
Uh-huh.
And it took a while to find our something, but I love tennis. And I started doing lessons and then I did group class. And then in high school for 2 years, I played on the tennis team. And I was on JV because I was really good, but I didn't like the competition aspect of it. Like I loved to play and like have good matches. But once the coaches were like, we got to win, I was like, I can't do that. So I quit after 2 years because I just couldn't. The beginning of the season was so fun and like playing. And then by the end, I was like, oh my God, they just want to win. Like, and I know that that's like the point, but I just
so
like it. I just
interesting.
enjoy the sport.
I
Tennis is
believe
it.
you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so fascinated about the competition ruining it for you because I'm not an athletic person at all, but I am deeply competitive. And I feel like I often wish I was athletic so that I could feel like I want to beat someone in something. You know what I mean? Is that like, does that apply in other aspects of your life? Or is it only in sports that you feel that way because you want to enjoy the sport?
I think in general, I'm not super competitive. If someone's like, one of my friends had this birthday party in the fall and it was like a big field day. So we went to Central Park and we played kickball and capture the flag. And I didn't go into it very competitive, but once the other team was like, nah, and like, was like, oh, like bad kick. And then I was like, what? I got into game mode and I got really like, so if I get triggered in that way, then I'm like, but starting out, I was just like, this is fun.
But you're not naturally in a heightened
like,
state.
Exactly.
Like I am.
I can get into that. I can channel my inner competitive persona if I need to. Aidan Fresh.
Exactly, Aidan Fresh.
But in general, I just enjoy playing and like having a good time.
Yeah.
Which is why I love tennis. Just a nice rally.
I love that.
A nice little match. How about you? What's your favorite sport to watch? Do you play any sports?
No. Do I? Look at me. Look at me right now. Do I play any sports? Well, one time in the 6th grade, my PE coach was like, you're tall, you should play basketball. And I had one good day in knockout. And I said, no. So I could be a very different person had I said yes. However many years ago. I don't like watching basketball. I find it boring and annoying with the squeaks. So, sorry, everyone. I realize
Squeaks.
it's a squeaky game.
True. It's a squeaky game.
I'm not into that. I got really into soccer during the World Cup in 2022, and I loved watching that. And it was like we were still in college, and we would like collectively all go to the little student centers throughout campus, and everyone would just watch it together. The energy was crazy. It was so fun. For the World Cup final, my friends and I like booked this massive classroom in one of the buildings, and we projected the game, and we just watched it, had snacks, food. It was a very fun like community bonding event. Like I like watching sports for the energy and hanging out with people and like having a beer outside. That's what I like about watching sports. I don't think I care about sports themselves.
You like the activity of coming together to...
Yeah, that's what I enjoy.
Fair.
Now you mentioned a sport
Yes, I did.
called tennis. And I think that very soon you're not going to have a problem finding someone to play tennis with.
It's true. I actually just a few days ago found 2 people to play tennis with.
Okay, cool.
2 people that I actually saw this movie with called Challengers. Thank you, Challengers, for finally helping me get some tennis partners. But if you haven't heard, Challengers was released on April 26th. Since seeing it, it's been on my For You page constantly, and I didn't see much before I saw it. I actually didn't know what the movie was about. I knew that there was a lot of sexual tension. I knew that Zendaya was in it.
That's all I knew, too. That's kind of all they told us in the trailers.
Kind of, yeah. And they were playing tennis.
You think that tennis is about expressing yourself, doing your thing. So you don't know what tennis is.
What is it?
I don't really know how to summarize the movie.
I mean, it obviously follows the 3 characters that you see in the movie, right? You have Tashi, who's played by Zendaya, incredible, like, I was going to say child star, which is true, but like a tennis child star, what do you call that?
A prodigy.
Yeah, sure, that. And then Patrick and Art are 2 little boys who also play tennis, and they're in love with her because who wouldn't be? And there's just a fun little love triangle situation happening. But the movie isn't about the love triangle. Like, it is. And spoiler alert, because we're going to get into the details of everything going on behind the scenes, but Tashi basically gets her dream of pursuing a tennis career ripped from her from this injury that she has. She like snaps her knee. I'm like, how did you act that out?
That scene was the hardest scene for me to watch. I hate knee injuries, and seeing that patella get displaced
right
was crazy.
Exactly.
For me. I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah,
continue,
no.
sorry.
It was, no, don't apologize. It was a haunting sound. So she, breaks her knee? I don't exactly know what happened to her, but it was a horrendous injury. And she can no longer play. And she essentially lives through these 2 other guys because they're able to continue playing tennis. And she eventually coaches and marries Art, Mike Faist. God, I want to marry that man. I keep getting TikToks of him. So they get married. She is his coach. And you can just really tell that she is only interested in their relationship due to the proximity to tennis that he gives her and that she lost.
For sure.
You have sympathy for Tashi, but it's also like, how far can someone go to grasp at something they've lost?
Yeah, and she really went very far.
She went far.
Yeah, and like you said, she only whoever was winning in terms of tennis, like that's who she was with, and that she made them play, and whoever won got her number. Patrick won. They dated. She got injured. They got in a fight. Patrick left. Art started playing at Stanford. He was like really good, and she was like, "Let me coach you," or he was like, "You should coach me." Whatever. Began to coach, and then bam, they got married. So really, whoever's winning on the court is winning in her heart.
Yeah.
Except she only loves tennis.
Exactly. She doesn't love either of these
of
people in any way whatsoever.
I have enjoyed seeing the Letterboxd reviews on TikTok. One of them was, it's like Twilight, but with less vampires, less werewolves, more tennis, and more dudes kissing. And then Wii Sports Lore was crazy.
That was hilarious. I saw that one too.
Every girl needs 2 gay boyfriends and just 2 tops fighting over a bottom. And no, not Zendaya. Because how was watching the movie in the theater? Because I just want to know, like, who you saw it with. Was the theater crowded? How was that experience? Was the audience very, like, active?
So I went on opening night. And by opening night, I mean Thursday. Like, not even, like, Thursday, 10 p.m. screening.
Wow.
I went. It was, like, packed. It was a Dolby theater, and it was reclined. I'm giving so many details, but the chairs, like, reclined, and I was like, I'm super into this. I think people were gasping the entire time, screaming. There was, like, a clear, like, tension in the air in the last scenes of the movie when it was literally just the game. And you have no idea who's going to win. You have no idea what they're going to do. The moment where Patrick puts the ball in the racket.
Oh, my gosh.
Everyone gasped. Everyone lost their mind. And it was a really incredible experience to watch in a movie theater. How was your experience? And you don't usually go to the movies either.
I don't,
if
but
you
recently I have. I need to stop
Yeah.
saying that because I've seen so many
Well,
movies
now
in
you
the
need to
theaters
get
recently.
A-list.
I honestly do. It sounds like a good deal, and there's so many movies coming out that I want to see. But
Yeah.
I went to the Lincoln Center AMC
Mm-hmm.
and went with two friends. It was kind of a last minute thing. And yeah, would highly recommend seeing this in the theater. We were sitting pretty close to the front on the left side, and I love a movie theater snack. I had my like cookie sandwich and my nachos.
That's a crazy combination. I have
know.
never gotten either of those things at the movie theater.
And I ate it like nachos, cookie sandwich, nachos, because my cookie sandwich was melting, and it wasn't the best decision for me. Anyways, that's totally. You were talking about recliners. I'm talking about my snack. So
These
totally
are the
irrelevant.
details that you guys want to know.
It was so fun to see it with friends because we would look at each other and gasp. And my friends were laughing at me because the way it was filmed with the tennis balls almost looked like they're going to hit you when they come to the screen.
Yeah.
I was flinching and my friends like, Aidan, why are you? And I was like, ah. And they were also, and then at one point, one of my friends, she started sitting like this. And then by the end, her knees were like on her seat and she was like in like a little fetal position. I was like, perfectly encapsulates the experience of watching the movie. Like,
Yeah.
you start, you're like, oh, okay, tennis. And then you're like at the edge of your seat. And a lot of our audience was laughing throughout because some of the scenes were a little silly with that Challenger's beat and the slow motion walks. Or like, and one of my friends described it like she was like half this movie is like a runway because just Zendaya walking in slow motion, which was, they would go on for so long. I'd be like, this is really funny. And it was silly.
I mean,
was
she
a silly
produced it
movie.
too, which is really funny. It's in a way, this movie is entirely about how hot and perfect Zendaya is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, true. Yeah, you should produce more movies like that.
That's true. She was rocking that fuck ass bob.
I
was
think
rocking the bob.
my Letterboxd review for it, I gave it 5 stars because I thought it was phenomenal. I think I said I'm about to chop my hair off and learn how to play tennis, and I think I will do that.
Honestly. So we have like Team Edward and Team Jacob is more
Oh, Team Art.
by Team Art. Yay, me too.
Yeah, people have been making edits of Patrick Josh O'Connor on TikTok, and I'll watch it, and I'll like think about it, and I'll be like, no, it's not doing anything for me. But it's interesting because I actually went into this movie being like, oh, like who thinks this little redhead is attractive? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. By the first 2 minutes of this movie, I was like, I'm sold. I actually am obsessed with you. And he was so sweet. And clearly, like when Tashi left to go meet Patrick in the storm, and she comes home and Art is in bed with their
the child. I was like, oh, he's like a golden retriever.
He really is. That's what he is. But obviously that's not what Tashi wants. Personality-wise, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense
for her to be with someone like that.
Even from the start, he was the better choice in my option when they first met at that party. Like he was like you played so well and was like asking her about that. And Patrick was like had a girlfriend also in quotes that we don't know and was like more like hitting on her like you should come to our hotel later, like we have beer. And Art was just like he's like the submissive in the relationship in both of his relationships. And I've also seen a lot of TikToks that are saying that Patrick was the heartbeat of the film because he was kind of in the center of everything and everything kind of revolved around his relationships with them in a way, which I can see.
I was watching an interview of the three of them and they were saying like you have to watch the movie a second time to see that like all three of the characters really suck. Like none of them are. And I could definitely see that. That's typically the case. But I think it's interesting because they have a strong feeling that Art gives this perception of being a really thoughtful and kind husband and person. But I think in other like analyses that I've been watching, they're saying like, well, Art kind of planted the seed for the fight. And he kind of had his own manipulation situation going on. Like Art didn't have to say that, and the cafeteria, and it was just like all these interesting things. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, I think Art was looking out for her because he knew that Patrick was doing some fuck shit on the side. So, anyway, I wonder if there's other things that I missed about art as a character that's really making, because Zendaya seems very passionate about being anti-art in a way. And I'm like, interesting. That's fascinating.
I can see how they're all flawed, but I feel like his flaws are not as bad as the others' flaws. Like, he never cheated. Like, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I'll just leave that there.
Yeah,
I'll just leave that there. Like, yeah, he manipulated him, was trying to break them up, but that was one time. It was like one time he just mentioned something, and obviously that didn't even break them up. It was their fight that broke them up.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't. Zendaya was my least favorite character.
She was incredible
Tashi,
in that role.
She was good, but her character was
insane.
Annoying.
Constantly making the worst decisions of all time.
Yeah, I was like, girl, you are so... She is like the little puppeteer, like that scene when they're making out in the hotel room and she's just like with her little like...
That's so funny.
Like...
That was a crazy
That scared
scene.
me. I was like, oh my... And it was also crazy to see Zendaya play someone who's 31 years old.
She was a mother.
When the child walked out, I was like, is that her little sister or something? Because I still have... I've only seen her play high school people ever.
Mm-hmm.
Shake It Up, Casey Undercover.
Right.
Zapped.
Euphoria,
obviously. I guess Dune, but I only saw Dune 1 and she was barely in that. And so I haven't seen Dune 2 yet, but
it was crazy to see her as a mom. And it was so funny when the kid was like, can we watch Spider-Verse?
Mm-hmm.
So shout out Tom Holland, making sure his presence is known in this crazy movie.
Honestly, and this might be embarrassing, but I got this movie confused. I got this movie confused with the Will Smith tennis movie about Serena Williams. And then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't Serena Williams.
Right.
So I didn't know anything. I had heard things about the sex and the threesome a little bit, but obviously the Serena Williams story stood out to me. So that's literally, I walked into the theater, I was expecting to see like a biopic.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I really thought it was about Serena Williams.
Oh.
And then I was confused about all the sex. I was like, sex? Threesome? Like, that doesn't, like, why would Serena like sign on for that? It's going to taint her image. Not that there's anything wrong with threesomes and sex, but yeah, so I'd never seen it. Yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of the marketing for this.
That's so fascinating. Well, I obviously was very into the marketing of it. The audience, they found a target audience, and it was me. And I think what they did was really smart in that they really centered the marketing on the love triangle and the relationship, and like the trailer made you think that there was going to be a lot of sex in this movie and that they were literally going to have a threesome.
Yeah.
How often does this happen? Going after the same girl? Come here.
But when you watch the movie, it like ends
right before you ever see anything.
Exactly. And the scene where Zendaya leans back, like that was in the trailer, and you kind of, as a viewer, in my head, I was like, oh, they're about to have a threesome. But literally, Art and Patrick just make out, and then she leaves. They were really smart about it in that they were like, well, people are really going to want to come see this, or people will want to come see this more if they think it's going to be this steamy, crazy movie in comparison to a very well thought out and intelligently structured film about how their relationship history drives the singular game. Because really this movie is about one game.
Literally.
The Challenger, which is so incredible. And I think the way that Luca structured the movie was so cool and easy to follow. Because I feel like whenever you do time jumps, I often have trouble figuring out what is happening and when and why. But this movie was nothing like what I thought it was, but in a great way. And that it drew everyone in and was like, actually, we are doing something way better than what you expected. Ugh, I want to watch it again.
I want to watch it again, and I want to play. I want to play so bad. I genuinely, there's no place I love than being on the court playing tennis. Like, there's something about it that is so, and it reinvigorated that passion inside of me. And it was also nice to watch a movie where I got the sport, and not that tennis is a complicated sport, but when they were talking, like, keeping score and the different parts of the court, I was like, oh, I know this. It's not like watching The Blind Side, for example, a football movie, and you're like, oh, like, I don't really know how football works, but I'm like, this is my sport. Like, I understand what's happening, and I understand, like, I could. And it also made me appreciate how well they did at having great tennis
They
form.
trained a lot. I was just about to bring that up.
That took me years. Not that
Yeah.
I'm as good as either of them, but that took me years to, like, get the good form. I'm like, damn, they followed through wonderfully.
Absolutely. And I think
It's impressive.
Serena Williams, I think, did go to the premiere and said that it was really incredible. And Naomi Osaka, I keep getting her TikToks because she's like doing a lot of promo for challengers.
Did you see the TikTok of her explaining how to serve?
Okay, so how to serve. I've never made a serving video, but here we go. If I was teaching someone how to serve, I would probably just make it as easy as I could. This is how I serve. I serve 3 bounces, and then from here, go up. But toss the ball, don't like not toss the ball. Just focus on tossing the ball straight up. And then coordination.
Yeah, I was like, she was like, yeah, you just kind of do it.
And then, like, you
And
throw
I
the
was like,
ball, like,
girl.
up, and then you kind of just hit it. And I was like, I know how to serve, and this made me not know how to serve anymore.
Right. Yeah. It was incredible to watch. I don't know. I really
I need to see it
loved their
again.
story.
I almost
Yeah.
saw it again on Thursday night. I was like, I'm not doing
Why
anything.
not?
Like, after my hip hop class, I got like a rotisserie chicken and I ate it. And I was like, I want to go see Challengers again.
Yeah. And you should have.
So good.
Hey, if you have A-list, you can.
I know.
you
I
can
need
just
to
go.
get A-list.
You can go 3 times a week.
Because they have the special line to get snacks.
Yeah. I always leave my friends. I'm like, so sorry, guys.
I'm going to the gold.
Right.
Meet me in
I'll
gold.
see you later.
It's like when you have TSA pre-check. And you're like,
I do that
like,
too.
Hey,
Like,
guy,
I'll see you on the other side.
Sitting on the other side. Like,
Yeah.
I'll save us a spot.
Right.
Want something to eat?
I'll see you in like an hour.
Oh, gosh. All the ways that Gen Z likes to show these minor class differences. Not even class differences, but just like differences.
Yeah.
And like how we show our status.
It is interesting. So thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, this was a fun one to do. If you have not seen Challengers, please go watch it in the movie theater before it leaves the theater. It really is a surreal experience to do that.
All right. Well, let us know your thoughts on Challengers whenever you see it, or if you already have.
Well, this is a more solemn period of the episode. I do have some news to share with you all. I will unfortunately be transitioning out as co-host of Banterly. I mentioned earlier that my work is pretty unpredictable, and I just generally feel like I can't commit my best self to this. I will hopefully be back every now and then to guest co-host, and would love to come back and talk my shit about a lot of things, because as we all have learned, I love to do that.
You will be missed.
I know, I'm gonna miss you. It's
I will
so
miss
sad.
you so. It has been so much fun doing this with you, and I feel like it's amazing that we really didn't. Fun fact: we didn't know each other before
Yeah,
this.
do people know that? We literally met because of this podcast.
And we've gotten such a nice groove, and it's been a highlight doing this with you. So you will be missed,
same.
but we will keep in touch. I will go to Demwe Boys. You'll see me in the audience.
Thank you. We'll have little reunions.
Yeah, maybe you can come back and be a guest host one day that you find yourself free, just to give us an update about what's happening.
Exactly. I definitely will do that. So thank you all for giving us your ears.
Yeah.
This has been a great time.
Share your thoughts with us at Banterly at immigrantlypod.com and engage with us on our socials at Immigrantly Media on Instagram and at Immigrantly Podcast on TikTok.
Banterly is produced by Shay Yu, written by us, the co-hosts Aditi Misra and Aidan Taylor. The executive producer and editorial review is done by Sadia Khan.
Our sound designer and editor is Ben Allman, and the Banterly theme music is by Simon Hutchinson. Additional music is by Epidemic Sound.
See y'all next week.